right, so we've got Grace, Dazelle, and Martin.
There's a staff bocce pizza party after this.
Oh, nice.
Oh, God, that's right.
Am I allowed to taste this?
Sure.
Was it originally bocce?
It is bocce.
When did we get
We
the?
didn't get a permit.
No, you're not permitted for bocce. All right. Speaking of bocce, we are live here at Hall Wines in St. Helena, and this is CellarPass TV. I'm the Vineyard Vixen, your host. And we are going to be meeting in just a few minutes two amazingly awesome executives from Hall Wines. But first, what's going on in wine country? Of course you want to know, just like we do. All right, so Hot August nights are leading to some of the hottest events going on all over wine country. And what we have coming up this weekend, we have on Saturday, August 9th, here in Napa Valley in Yountville at Jessup's Cellars, the Art House Sessions continue in full swing, featuring Jessie Thomas. And this singer-songwriter from Kentucky will treat your senses to her soulful sounds and original songs. Then over in Sonoma, yes, there is another valley, Sparkling Wine Exposed at J Vineyards. If you love sparkling wine, then this event is for you. They're going to be talking about all of the aspects of making sparkling wine, but specifically the dosage. So you're going to sample a variety of wines with various levels of dosage, and you can see how much just the tiniest little difference makes in the final product. That's going to be super fun. And then Sunday, August 10th, in partnership with the Napa Valley Film Festival, the Hess Collection presents Impossible Light. And this is a really amazing documentary. It is. It's really cool. Chronicling the story and the drama and the childlike daring behind the Project Ambers. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, basically it's those really cool twinkling lights coming down the Bay Bridge. So they're going to talk about how they created the abstract art sculpture and all the challenges and everything they faced. Of course, there's also Shakespeare Under the Stars happening at Buena Vista. And that's it for now. We'll be talking about more later, but to get your tickets to these exciting events and more, go to CellarPass.com. All right, now let's give a warm welcome to Jocelyn and Jeff. Yay! Thanks, guys. All right, these are our Hall execs that have a love for bourbon, as Mr. Zappelli is pouring me a fantastic.
You just talked about Kentucky.
We were just talking about Kentucky, so how fitting we would have bourbon.
We got the US Open this week in Kentucky, right?
Yep. Yeah. So Jeff's whipping up some killer Manhattans over here, and then of course we have the killer Hall wines that we're going to be sipping our way through here in just a moment. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. All right. So Jeff, we starting with bourbon, or what are we doing here?
Yeah. So
why not? Let's get this party started.
Here
Cheers.
at the winery, and we do this both with our club members, sometimes in the office, sometimes out in the field. We always start with a beverage that's not wine. So, although sometimes sparkling happens, actually quite often sparkling happens, but it's always a nice way to kind of.
It's the other white wine.
The other white wine, yeah, I guess. It's like the better pig. You're right. The better meat. So here's to you and to CellarPass and to this weekend. I guess we'll drink a little bourbon.
Absolutely.
So
cheers. Thank you. And cheers to our rockstar bloggers. I just took a piece of ice down their throat. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, our rockstar bloggers, we have Flawless Crowns and Maya Vine Spot and Cellar Mistress all joining us online today. So we'll be getting their feedback here shortly. And
we didn't send them any bourbon, right?
I hope not.
Okay, so they don't have to drink their own.
Yeah, so you have to make your own Manhattans. Sorry. Next time we'll give you the heads up and post the recipe online.
We can still do that.
We could still give you the recipe. It's fantastic. I think most of these kids are pretty seasoned. I'm sure they can figure it out.
We can tweet it.
We can tweet the bourbon recipe. That's awesome. Okay, well, what do we have here in our glasses? We are starting off with some. You guys really came up with a fantastic selection, by the way.
We did. Jeff Dreyfus chose it.
Jeff Dreyfus.
Our wine educator extraordinaire.
So we're going to get educated here on the Hall wines, and let's start with contestant number 1. And which Jeff would like to tell us about this?
I'd be happy to.
All right, talk really loud.
He decided he actually forced his way into this because he really was passionate about these wines and wanted to talk about them.
So these wines all have something in common, and that is our Sacre Vineyard. And although our Sacre Vineyard is considered the crown jewel in our vineyard portfolio, we actually have a 100-point wine from Robert Parker out of that vineyard, which is our 2010 Excellence. And
how hard is it to get 100 points?
Next to impossible.
Wow.
It's rarefied air. He doesn't give out very many. And all of these wines have some Sacre in it. And the first one that we're going to taste is our 1873.
All right, 1873.
And just like in the Catherine Hall, Sacre is the lead singer in this. It gives you that nice, deep, dark fruit, minerality to the wine, but it is also accompanied with some all mountain fruit from other vineyards as well. I often describe this as Catherine Jr.
Catherine Jr.
Quite as big and full.
Little K.
Little K, but it is delicious and has an amazing finish to it.
It is absolutely delicious.
And it opens up beautifully.
So what would you pair with this one?
Oh,
I'll get
remember,
Jocelyn.
remember he's a vegetarian,
Oh.
so let's not have him pair
Mushrooms.
anything.
All right, Jocelyn.
You know, some braised meat or red meat of some sort, but we always go back to this, and especially this time of year, I love the duck confit with the cherries, dried cherries, and maybe some quinoa or something underneath. Corey
Something
Beasley does
totally
that
easy to
from time
make.
to time. Well, no, but we do have our resident chef, Corey Beasley.
And just order it up.
And she can make it for us, exactly right. So
It's as simple as dialing C.
exactly right. And I also, and I think I've said this before, for me, I believe any wine can go with any food if it's properly seasoned. And
Right.
so Corey really works on the balance of salt and acid in her foods. So you could eat duck confit with our T-Bar-T Sauvignon Blanc or with the 1873, and they should both pair fine. It might not be that magical pairing, but
it works.
It works.
That's very good to know, and I believe that too. I believe that you can pair wines with just about anything and get creative with it. So you shouldn't really, shy away.
Right.
Yeah, there are things that definitely go better than others, but
sure.
but you can drink your reds with your chicken or whatever. Knock
For
yourself out.
sure.
Drink what you like, eat what you like, and have fun with it because that's what makes wine so exciting.
Exactly, and actually Craig is a vegan and Catherine a vegetarian, and they love all of these wines, and they feel that their food choices pair beautifully with all the wines that we make, and I agree.
We will never, ever, ever disagree.
That's right, they signed my paycheck.
That's right. Flawless Crowns is saying the wines are very nice. I'm thinking lamb with this particular selection. Any seasoning you suggest for lamb with this pairing? I personally would do rosemary and lavender with maybe just a hint of mint into it, and then make a paste. Garlic and whatnot, of course, but I think the lavender would actually really bring out some nuances that
That's
not really
great. That's
catching.
a great call. And you could get all those in our garden.
And you can get all of those here at the Hall Gardens. Yes, this is true. You guys have an amazing garden, by the way. I mean, those vegetables that we took home last week.
Did you enjoy
heavenly.
them?
Oh my God, they
We've
were so
put a
good.
lot of time and energy into the planting of the garden.
It's a serious garden.
It really is, and I think we've recently brought honeybee hives here, and so everything that we're doing, we want to start making our own honey and call it Beasley's because Corey Beasley,
that's really
Beasley's
cute.
honey, and everything that we do really is around wellness and health and organic and sustainable and seasonal. So
And that's the way it should be. It's
Yeah.
really good. All right, Jeff Zappelli, what would you pair with this wine?
I was gonna say, I like lamb. I love a nice, medium rare cooked lamb. I think you could probably do something sweet with this too. You could maybe cherry compote.
Oh, good
maybe
call.
a spiced cherry compote.
Maybe.
Probably be a nice kind of, you can kind of layer that over the top. And, in the vegetarian area, I think, it's not vegan, but it's cheese. And cheese goes. I mean, you get you can get a nice mimolette. Go really well with this wine. We've always said Sacre and mimolette, kind of
That-
nice saltiness, fatty cheese.
Yeah, and there's also the barely buzzed.
Barely buzzed.
Oh, that is so good.
Barely
that would go
buzzed.
really
I
good.
think we get fully buzzed. Cheers, though.
Well,
so.
yeah. We'll start off with barely buzzed.
Okay, how's that sound?
No, the barely buzzed is a nice hard, a semi-hard cheese, I would say. It's got a coffee crust on it.
Okay,
And so
cool.
is
you
it
just-
goat's milk or
really
cow?
delicious.
It's either goats or sheep, but it's not cow.
Okay.
And it's just an amazing, especially with Cabernets, because it just
Sure.
the coffee part just
Pulls
it's
it right out.
amazing, absolutely amazing.
We last night we had Janet Fletcher here, so she's doing her cheese and wine series here at Hall, and so we had the first of a series of 4. And last night we were doing our Napa Valley Cabernet, which is spectacular.
Yes.
And we were trying it with all the different cheeses, 7 cheeses from very fresh and bright cow, goat, sheep, all the way through the spectrum, aged to blue. and we tasted a 4-year aged Gouda that had almost some caramel notes and nuttiness, and I thought, this is going to fight with the wine, and it actually was delicious with the Napa Cab. Interestingly enough,
I bet it would be, 'cause it's definitely got a nutty.
It does
element
for
to
sure,
it,
and it wasn't too salty, so it wasn't the salt and tannin that we're fighting. And so it was kind of an interesting
Nice.
eye-opening. So come see us. Come to our cheese and wine
We
experience
have 4 of them,
next
right?
month. 4 of them.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
very exciting. Yeah, we'll have to do that. We do have, Cellar Mistress is asking about some background on the art for the artist series.
Oh, so actually there's great stories here with art.
Beautiful labels.
Because this is Caravanserai on the 1873 label, which actually hangs at our Rutherford property. We're in St. Helena today, but we have a very small winery that was finished in 2005 up on the hills just below the Hall's home, and it hangs there. And it's a cool story because we actually, before it hung there, it actually hung in the old offices at Hall St. Helena. It was right over the copy machine because they didn't have a place to put it in their house. We had another piece in Rutherford. So their caretaker of the house, his name's Mike Walski, he actually brought it down to the offices and said, this is this is a place that doesn't get any sun, because it didn't, and kind of a gloomy office if you can imagine. But so he hung it right over the copy machine, and we had very polarizing opinions of this piece. I love it. I think it's great. Obviously, the Halls love it. So Mike Reynolds is the president of Hall Wines. He was our first winemaker. His wife, Jenny, was going through art magazine. She's an art teacher. And so she's going through magazine. She's like, hey, Mike, isn't this the piece that you didn't like down in St. Helena? And he's like, yeah, there it is. And it was hanging in the Smithsonian. So we actually have this piece now back in the Hall's hands, but they had loaned it. It was on loan. So, but that was something we decided in 2007 for, I think, the 2004 vintage, to start putting art on the label. Obviously, the properties are so much about art and architecture.
It's a perfect fit.
Yeah, and it's definitely a passion of theirs. Speaking of those amber lights that are, we actually have a piece here in St. Helena that we hope our guests will come see. But so we really wanted it to become the true artisan series. A lot of wineries have artisan wines.
Right.
We thought that we could be a little bit more literal about that.
Art with your
We
artisans.
tend to be a little bit more literal
We
about
do.
just about everything.
Yes, we
very,
do.
very specific around these parts.
Yeah, so that we started landing different pieces of art on the label, and it was funny as we started lining up the different bottles. We actually got to a wine, and maybe I'm skipping ahead here, but we actually got to a wine called Jack's Masterpiece.
And we'll talk about that one. That one will make you cry. So let's not get there yet.
Yeah.
That one's very heart touching. I love
But
it.
it's something that all of the art that you're seeing on the labels is actually been hand done. Even the Bergfeld, which is a photograph, that's a pencil sketch of Bergfeld.
Oh, very cool.
So.
And Jeff, actually, the story of 1873.
Yeah, so
Was that a question?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I think
you.
that was my question.
Is that-
Oh, is that you again?
No.
Just like I told you, stay off your phone.
Yeah.
So we were trying to develop a wine that had a story of the heritage of the place. St. Helena is it used to be known as Vineland. So it was the first place where people actually came and planted vines, and so we date back to 1873 on this property with the first vines being planted. Then William Peterson came in and built the winery. Robert Bergfeld bought the winery from him. So we were actually, this wine had a few names coming into it. We were thinking about, there was actually Vineland Station was one of our favorite names because the property next door is called Vineland, and there's a few other places in St. Helena called Vineland, but there was actually a train station across the street from Hall St. Helena, and it was called Vineland Station. And a lot of the fruit that was processed
Just
got loaded over there, and the train tracks actually used to come into the property just to the north of us, where we'd be building this kind of a cool residence area. So it just kind of it became something where we wanted to really showcase what Napa Valley, the history of Napa Valley was all about. So we're kind of speaking that a little bit through 1873.
I think it's a wonderful homage to the history, and that's the thing is Napa Valley and California wine history dates back a long time, and so I think it's wonderful that we're really seeing a resurrection of the stories and the history, and the current owners of these magnificent estates taking the time to unearth the history and talk about where it came from while tying it into their current legacy. And I think that is what is really what's supposed to happen.
Sure.
It's a natural progression. I think somewhere along the line got lost like in the 80s and stuff, and you see a lot of like
A lot got lost
Lot
in
got
the
lost in
80s.
the 80s,
But I'm a
some
child
brain
of the
cells too,
80s,
right?
so yeah.
But you look at, you guys, completely redone the Bergfeld. And that's a prime example of what got lost
Sure.
during that era, is it just, a still building went up around it and it was hidden.
Right.
And this is a magnificent stone ghost winery that literally was hidden in the most industrial, icky steel building you could ever imagine. And yet there was this gem just
Sure.
saying, hi, here I am. And now it's back to its amazing grandeur, and you guys have done an amazing job. So I thank you for having returned some of the history and the gifts that our forefathers here in the valley have given to us. And now you're starting to see these happen all over, and in
Sure.
Sonoma and Napa, Oregon, Washington. I mean, the regions are vast and many, and they all have their own unique histories. So
Sure.
I think it gives a lot more meaning, brings a little bit more connection to the wine, and so that is very cool.
We
All
thank
right.
the halls.
We
for
thank
doing
the
that.
halls. Yes,
and-
this was definitely a labor of love.
Yeah.
And, it's expensive. I mean, we're not
Yes,
going to
it
lie
is.
about it. It's expensive.
It ain't cheap, Sister
No.
Sue. Yes.
You know what? There's
yes,
a good story about that, though. You've got one with a winery. It's not like this isn't a corporate building complex. Like, you got one shot to make it as good as you can, because if you think about the historic wineries if you think about the new winery in France, I think it's either Chateau Margaux or. So Mike Reynolds and the winemaking team go there, and I can't remember the specific winery, but they got all excited. The whole tour was getting all excited because they were going to go into the new winery, right? They were like, whoa, because the old one's obviously built in the 1800s. And they're like,
Who
whoa,
wants to
this
see
is
that?
cool. So they're like, and we were building a winery, so they're like, this is something we got to see. And the new winery was built in 1973. So what we know about this place is that it's got to stick around for decades and maybe centuries. So you better get it right the first time. So if it's expensive, it's got a long amortization period.
Well,
Sure.
I was going with the fact that it's not necessarily something that's going to go into your wine. It's not necessarily something you can directly tie to any cost center. And when you're talking business, it's really important. So being able to have the vision and invest the time and definitely the money and have the heart to do so, I think that's the biggest difference. And those are the gifts that they go on for a lifetime.
Well, and really
beyond.
the most valuable resource is the human resource, and Jeff and I really are the greatest gifts of all, aren't we?
I'll just drink to that.
Wow, you guys are all right, Jocelyn.
I might drink the bourbon to that. There we go.
I mean, let's lighten it up a little, shall we?
All right, moving on. More questions and feedback besides the greatest gifts of all right here sitting beside me.
But we are.
You are.
Right?
You guys are amazing. And
Yeah.
you've been here forever. Jocelyn's going to be almost a lifer as well.
I
can
will.
feel it.
I'm going to retire here.
I think
have
so.
my walker and my blue eyeshadow.
I can't wait for that. That'll be awesome.
Pink lipstick.
And my pink lipstick. Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
going to be great.
Kind of the color that Lisa's
What wine
wearing
do you
right
think
now.
will pair with that?
With my pink lipstick? I'd say the Catherine Hall.
I like it. I like it. With so many wines in your portfolio, Flawless Crowns is asking, how do you decide which wine is next?
Oh, you mean in this tasting, or?
I mean, you guys have a fantastic portfolio. So, is there kind of a decision process, or do you come up with great names like, Vineland Station hasn't been taken yet? Do you think you would
Oh,
actually?
Violent Station was taken. That was the
Well-
problem we couldn't go for.
Yeah, or we
Another
would have
winery
used
up the
it.
street had it. Yeah. That was the reason why we didn't name
Got
it that
it,
way.
got it.
Because it was a resounding yes. We have one wine actually that needs a name. So actually, this would be a fun way
Me
to,
too.
So,
talk to the general public about.
You should send in your suggestions.
I think you should tweet or Facebook. I'm evidently really good at social media. I think you should send us your suggestions on what you'd like to name it.
next Hall wine.
It's a Cabernet from St. Helena, and it's going to talk a lot about St. Helena as far as the story goes, the vineyards.
What's its
It's
preferences,
only
its
going to
likes,
be
its
available.
wants?
It's only be available from the winery.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers, briefs, sure.
And the person who picks the name gets a 3-liter of 2011 Napa Valley Cabernet.
I think that's a great idea. Maybe
out of
a
your
6-liter.
inventory.
No
Out of
competition
my
here.
inventory isn't a problem at all. Sure, yeah,
All right, so that's how things get decided here at Hall.
yeah. No, actually, there is a contest
Over a
going on.
bourbon and a handshake.
Yeah, exactly.
There
There
is a contest going on with my team too, and
Yeah.
it's been a big donut hole. So We need help.
Yeah, so help the team here at Hall to pick the name for their next wine, and you too could be enjoying lots of wines from Hall all out of one big bottle. So invite your friends. All right, Cellar Mistress is saying you have seemed to beaten the odds for such a tough vintage in the 11. These are beautiful wines.
Oh man, do you want to tell the story?
No, you tell the story.
Right, so
Guess what? It's not really an 11.
we actually just launched a big campaign on this because we're really proud of our winemaking team. It was not an easy vintage at all.
No, there's lots of challenges that year.
In fact, it's funny. Every year, Steve has like his harvest hat. It's a Giants hat, and you know, last year's hat seemed to make it all the way through harvest looking brand new. Like it was this gray hat with an orange SF. The 2011 hat was not brand new by the end of it.
He had to throw it away.
He was tearing his hair out. It was tough. It was a tough year. We had mold occur in Cabernet, which never happens.
Well, that year a lot of people lost their entire crops of Chardonnay. I mean,
Yeah.
it was brutal.
It
was really rough.
Yeah, we had botrytis in places that people have never seen botrytis. So.
Did you call the doctor for that, or?
No, I mean, you know.
No, we did some shake and
Shake and
bake.
bake, yeah.
Exactly right.
So what we did was we sent our crews out and actually started shaking the vines.
getting
So
water
Steve
off
would,
of them.
not water, grapes.
Oh, drop the grapes.
Yeah, we were actually trying to shake the moldy grapes off.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's the same way that, actually the same way that we remove the grapes from the stems now. We have this machine that actually shakes them off so that we're not pummeling them with a paddle. So we did it by hand with our vineyard staff.
So everybody got out there?
Well, there was 3 different motions. So they had the single where you're grabbing it there, and then you would grab the top, and then if it was really a lot of mold, you'd actually shake it with
So
both
2
hands.
hands on.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, and then my vine spot is talking about the 1873 purple black fruits intertwined with dried herbs, dried flowers, underbrush, savory, and delicious. That is
Nice.
You know, Giselle, you write so eloquently, it's not even funny.
And the
Amazing.
1873 really is a staff favorite as well. You know, it's the go-to.
It is
If you go
delicious.
to dinner, you're going to somebody's house, this is the wine. It's fun, it's new to us, and it's really, really beautiful.
It is excellent. And then the label, too, has great table presence.
the
You know, it's
label.
good talking points
It
and
is.
awesomeness. Well, let's talk a little bit about Jack's, because it's next, and I think Jack's has a fantastic story behind it.
I'm going to let you tell this story, Jeff
That's
Dreyfus.
fine.
Me? Okay.
All right, Jeff Dreyfus, you have to speak very loud because
Sorry,
you're not mic'd.
I'm not mic'd, so I'll do my best.
So Zappelli, lean in. Thank you.
So,
Zappelli, give Jeff a
So
big
tell me.
bear hug.
So tell me, Jeff, what do you think of
Don't
the
be afraid,
2011
Jeff.
Jack's?
so our Jack's Masterpiece is actually a wine that is blended by our president, Mike Reynolds. We've been speaking about him a fair amount, rather than our winemaker, Steve Levesque. Mike Reynolds started out, he was Hall employee number 1, and he was the first winemaker and general manager. In 2006, Mike got promoted to president and loves to make wine, but has too many other things going on. So he likes to keep his skills sharp and stay in touch with the winemaking and create what his style, his favorite Cabernet Sauvignon. And so Mike likes the quintessential, big, bold, deeply colored, deep flavored, has a nice,
Rich, opulent, thick. Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
Cabernet Sauvignon. And that's what he's created right here. So it's not an exact recipe. It's primarily mountain fruit. There's some actually some fruit from our Valley Floor Bergfeld vineyard in here as well. But every year, year after year, it's one of our biggest, boldest, deepest,
Richest
luscious,
Cabernet.
richest Cabernet Sauvignon.
Sexiest.
Sexiest. And
Just
the
like
reason
Mike
it's called Jack's
Reynolds.
Masterpiece is
Catherine's sexy, Mike is not sexy.
if you could show the label there. So Mike has 3 children, and for Father's Day a few years back, his wife, the art teacher, had the kids paint paintings for Dad, and his youngest son, Jack, was 18 months old when he painted the painting that's on the label right there. So we call him Jack the Dripper too. And it's, I mean, people are often shocked to find out that an 18-month-old had painted that painting. It's pretty awesome.
There was Mike
The
tells
technique
it.
is phenomenal.
There was Mike tells it. Mom might had a little something to do with it.
That video of Jack.
That's very Well, it's beautiful wine and a very touching sentiment to actually give a tribute to his children on that. I think it's pretty cool.
And we actually have a promotion on the wine going currently, or we're
Promotions?
marketing the wine currently with a picture of Jack in his diapers. So we're wondering how many more years we'll be able to do that
Use
before
Jack.
he rebels. Forever. Yeah, it's working for now though. So
Yeah,
it's
see,
good.
I don't know though. So, because Jack is, he's actually the youngest son in the group, but he's also the best known. So I think he's gonna be comfortable with the diaper shot for a little while, maybe
Maybe.
until he hits
You know,
puberty.
it's funny.
We got another 4 years.
Yeah,
It's really cute.
So we're good.
I love it.
Mike's oldest son, Nick, worked for us this summer.
Still
and
does.
He's
Still working,
He still
yeah.
works for us. He's 16 years old. And I asked him about, because all 3 paintings are in Mike's office. And I said, which one is yours? And he said, not the one that's on a label.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, he's a little bitter.
He's
He
a
is a
little
little bitter.
No, he said I'm Jack's older, lesser known brother.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, well, it's good to have a sense of humor about these things.
It's tough because at events, if Jack comes to the event,
Yes.
everyone will be like, "You're Jack," and he'll be like out there signing bottles.
Yeah.
like
and
he's
it's-
8 years old.
It's,
Brilliant.
And then there's
I have an
Nick, and
8-year-old
Nick will
that
come out and they'll be
resembles
like, "Do you think?"
they're like, who's that guy?
No, they're like, "Are you Jack?" And he's like, "No, I'm Nick."
I'm the older, lesser
I
famous
hope Mike's tuning
brother.
in today. By the way.
The thing though that is interesting to me is there are predominantly family wineries in this valley. We lose sight of that because of the constellations of the Diageos and all that, and I've worked for them, and they have their place in this valley for sure. I think what's really amazing though about this company is that there isn't that feeling of nepotism or you have to do this for this person
Right.
because. So when Nick came to work for us this year, it was his first job, 16 years old, and Mike Reynolds, our president, his father said, make him clean out all the garbage cans, make him spray down the patios,
Oh,
make
poor
him
baby.
do the dirtiest,
Yep, no
because he wants
love.
him to learn, and it's all about you put in your time, and I think that's that's part of the culture here is
Right.
anybody will do anything at any time that is needed
get it done.
to provide the best experience possible for the guests
Right.
and to get the job done,
And-
right?
right.
And it's that simple.
And
Then
then
you get a label.
And then
And then you get a label.
get a
So I'm
label.
working on mine. Horror's something. Horror red blend.
Would it sell
more
well?
selections.
Horror selections.
Mike Jackson just over there, just
Go a long way with that one.
Yes, horror Michael Jackson something. I don't know.
The name just wraps around the bottle.
It does. What do you think? It would sell. Yeah.
we have
gets
that.
some-
We already have the art picked out for it. We have rouge, all the flowers. It's very feminine.
Is that the new Craig's artwork?
No, that's Everest.
I know.
Yes.
It looks little.
Yeah.
Jack's Masterpiece is a fun blend with a bit of Petit Verdot, big juicy ribeye with this wine for sure coming from Cellar Mistress.
Yeah. Definitely.
And Flawless Crown says, beautiful story to match such a stunning wine. Love it. Cheers to Jack. And Nick.
Yay.
And cheers to Nick.
Cheers, Nick. We love you. We miss you.
And the often forgotten Megan in the middle. He has a daughter too.
Aw.
Probably wants nothing to do with wine.
She's like, I'm out. That's so funny. Well, I think there's something to be said about the nepotism or lack thereof when you're working. And I worked for my mother when I was younger, and yeah, there was no love. I mean, I think it was like 10 times worse, actually. It was like, really, this just isn't right.
Yeah. Well, I haven't worked for my mother formally, but I'm still working for her every day.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Well, you pay for it all
Yes,
the way.
you do.
How did they come up with the unique blend for Jack's Masterpiece? Asked Cellar Mistress.
Oh, the winemaking. So this is actually one of their, every year it's one of their favorite wines when they're making it. I mean, they have a job to make Catherine Hall the best wine on the list because that's the namesake of the wine.
Absolutely.
And Steve would say it's similar. That's what pays us Jack. So, but they have a lot of fun making Jacks because it's always got that big body,
Right.
that big fleshy mouthfeel, and then kind of at the end it's always got this signature kind of rise and tannin. So that's kind of the style I guess they're always going for. But it also, since it's a blend of Sacre, Bergfeld, Diamond Mountain this year, it gives them a lot of options to continue to really make the best wine
just gotta
possible.
play with it a little bit.
Play with it, yeah.
Oh, that's excellent.
So this is always wine. The winemaking team's really
They really love
And
it.
it's one too that, I mean, this is a cult wine for our members and our partners. My first Cabernet Cook-Off, which is our big fundraising event that we do every year, was last year. And DM, who is here today and is our wine club manager and amazing, and puts on, really is the woman behind the event every year. She put me behind the VIP pouring station. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I just
Sure,
I'm just
fine,
gonna
all right.
look cute and bat my eyelashes and whatever. And people, it was 100 degrees outside. There were 400
Give me
people
wine,
there.
woman.
No, they were literally, they would get in line, ask for Jack's, get a pour, and this is a
And then
big,
loop back around.
muscular wine, right?
Yeah.
And they'd get back in line and do it again. And it was like
Jack's.
100 degrees outside, and I
Jack's.
was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, all I want to drink is Napa Valley
Sauvignon
Sauvignon
Blanc,
Blanc,
yeah.
and you're drinking Jack's." So I mean, people
It's
just
fantastic.
are really excited about this wine, which makes our lives very, very good.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. And my Vine Spot's saying the 2011 Jack's Masterpiece Cabernet, dense, chewy, dark, framed with dusty tannins. Bring on the well-marbled ribeye.
Yeah.
Well, do
Maybe
you
a
need
slight,
a job?
Maybe a slight dusting of cocoa. Slight dusting of cocoa. That's what
That
I
would be
get out of the
fun.
wine.
That would be, I like that.
Yeah.
So my Vine Spot, Mr. Dizelle, what music would you pair with Jack's?
Oh, rock
So
and
I
roll.
can't wait to hear that one. He's got fantastic music. Oh, okay, it's already piping in again. Wow. On the subject of Petit Verdot, a little goes a long way. It shows here in the Jack Masters piece. So yeah, it doesn't take much, but it definitely
Well, the
changes the
hardest
structure.
the hardest are Petit Verdot. So we have 5 vineyards in our portfolio, and then we have 2 for Walt. But the hardest are Petit Verdot and Malbec are actually really good, and we've kind of always thought about making a Petit Verdot
I was
as a
just gonna
single.
say, like, we're
But the winemaking team, it's like they're like, well, it's
kind
a
of
great
strain
wine.
from your.
It does.
Yeah.
I think it strains from their abilities, right? So they're focused on making great Cabernet, and so then if you're going to make Petit
Put in a Petit
Verdot,
Verdot, and you're like, oh wait,
it's
how
just
does it
spending
fit?
energy away from their
Right.
from their core focus.
And you guys do such great cab. It's kind of hard to
Well,
be
and
like.
who are you, right?
Right.
And so
Then you
even
make everything, and then
you do. I mean, we have a couple fun wines like that. We have the Darwin, which is 100% Syrah, and we have our Craig's Cuvée, which is a Meritage, and so we do a couple. They're more barbecue wines, fun wines, more lighthearted, less serious. But I think winemaking would say that they would prefer to focus on
Cabernet.
the more
yeah.
serious
Yeah.
wines, and we want to have 10 100-point wines. in our
Okay, so
portfolio.
you have a serious wine. What unserious activity do you pair with it then? So board games.
Oh,
Bocce.
Bocce. Okay, bocce could almost be a board
Bocce.
game.
We got a bocce party tonight.
we
Yes,
have
you
a
do.
pizza bocce party tonight. I hope that you're going to stay.
We'll find out. I have to break and come back. But
Okay, good.
take a moment and swing back through. Board games. What are your favorite board games? Classic,
Risk.
Risk. Okay, Risk. You can't go wrong with Risk.
I don't
Jocelyn?
play board games. It's not my thing.
Okay, we're gonna have to
Do I
change
look
that.
like a board game person?
I think you kill it at Risk.
Isn't
about
there
we?
an Apple game? What's the
How
Apple
about
game?
we?
Apples to
The-
apples.
Apples to apples.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Maybe apples to apples. I played that once and I didn't like it, but I would do it again.
Okay.
If I could drink this wine.
Exactly. All right, studio
Jeff
audience.
Dreyfus.
What are your board games of choice?
I like Trivial Pursuit.
Okay.
Cranium.
Cranium.
Canadian, that's-
Cards Against Humanity, which is a card game.
Humanity.
Mike Jackson. What's yours?
Yeah, Mike Jackson.
Come on, you're on camera. What's yours?
Twister.
Here's to that. There you go.
Naked Twister.
Good. Yeah, you should.
Is it a
Last
solo
Sunday night was rough.
No.
Stop it.
Monopoly, of course, comes with flawless crowns. Long
yes,
game
Monopoly.
means more wine.
That's true.
Absolutely. The marathon of Monopoly. You can't go wrong with
Start
that.
fighting.
Oh, it can get ugly. So you start jacking up your rent, making your own rules.
Exactly right.
$5,000. That's awesome. All right, so we're still getting some more feedback. Board games. I'm a Risk girl. It's what we do in our household. So
yeah?
yes, my pairing usually actually is gummy bears and champagne. I know you never think that it goes, but it works very well, and you totally get
Popcorn.
your sugar high. And
Yeah.
Popcorn.
oh, that'd be good too. So yeah, Risk
Like
is.
Churchill of.
I got my big cigar, and my
The
gummy
producer's signing
bears.
it, all right?
Chef
Flat
Mike
on
C
candy.
downstairs.
What, downstairs where?
Chef Mike C, who did the popcorn a couple
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
ago,
yeah,
he's
he'll be
downstairs right now. He's doing some more culinary programs. He's doing popcorn at our Catherine Hall release
Chef
party.
Mike C's awesome.
We should talk about that party. that party on September 13th, right?
Oh, well, you know, we were just gonna
Tickets are
get to
available on
that.
CellarPass, right?
They are.
So
The only
Sarah's
place
gonna
that you're
kill us because she's
wine
like, we
event.
were gonna get to there. Why
We
don't
are.
you just slow it down?
Hey, yeah.
No.
Who's running the show? No.
So we
well,
roll
I
at
think
Hall
that
Wines.
brings us right up to wine number 3, which,
you go.
if I check my notes, has just been released to the club members.
Actually, it's happening tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
So
6:30 a.m. Eastern.
the sexiest wine of the
idea?
whole lineup right here.
It's
tomorrow
opening at
morning.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
Western here at Hall Wines.
So is this
People
kind
are-
of
people are
like
lining
auction
up
Napa
right now.
Valley tickets? Like, you know, you can't get
Kind
them
of
15
is.
seconds after it goes online?
That's exactly right.
Oh my
It
gosh, I
happens.
didn't realize that the demand was so high.
It was high.
Well then, all right,
Really
I'm
high.
taking this home.
Okay.
All right.
This wine sold out in 3 days once.
Really?
Yeah.
When was that?
2008, when we were the number 2 wine on
Then
the Wine
it needs to sell
Spectator's
out in
Top
2
100.
days in
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone beat the record. 2 days, sell out, Catherine Hall. Leave enough for the party on September 13th, where you can get your tickets at CellarPass.com. And you guys are mixing it up this year. It's going to be
We
a
are.
daytime event.
It's going to be a daytime event. Actually, historically, it has been. Last year, we did an evening event. We thought it would be fun with a new facility and lighting, and you know, it was fun. It was a crawfish feed and great Cajun music and fun. This year, though, it'll be a daytime event that is really light. Our whole thing is, you know, come and relax and sip and stroll and enjoy the property, and so that's what this party is really about. We have a
Like it.
DJ. We have a boom boom guy, which
Nice.
The boom boom guy.
he's the boom boom guy who fell off of a scaffolding. I'm sorry if you're watching this.
Oh,
But in 2008, but he lived to tell the tale. So it'll be food and wine pairings. We have Chef Mike C doing popcorn, 2 different popcorns with pairings. Catherine Hall and Steve Levesque, our director of winemaking, will be signing bottles that are purchased that day and having photos taken with them.
Nice.
So, and then we'll have some really special large formats and library wines available the day of the event.
And no swimming in the fountain.
No.
Yeah, apparently.
Lifeguard on duty.
No lifeguard on
That's what
duty.
you should
Yeah.
put out there.
Yeah.
That is
But we're
actually
really
a great sign idea.
I know.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a
Sharks.
food demonstration.
Sharks,
Beware
sharks in the
sharks.
pool.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, I'm working on a sign. Lisa Heckerman.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Lisa's our PR director.
She
She's
is.
behind the camera.
She
Yep,
is.
now she's in the camera.
Man, that robo arm has good reach. That's awesome.
like it.
That's
My
so
Vine
funny.
spot's coming back for the music pairing. Black Sabbath for sure for Jack's masterpiece.
Sabbath.
Absolutely. Commonality, dark side, dense textured, etc. How about you? How heavy can you get?
Whoa,
Ooh, I could go with a
wow.
little Danzig, I think.
that was a call out.
I think
Yeah.
so, absolutely. But you know, I'm kind of a diehard Ozzy Osbourne. You know,
Yeah,
he's-
Ozzy's
Crazy.
good.
Ozzy
That's
is
a good
great.
one.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
What was the one? AC/DC?
Yeah. Back in black.
Back in black.
Back in Black.
No Enya.
I would go.
No, Enya.
No idea. From the PR side.
Yeah,
don't
go back
make
to
any
your
rosé.
white Zen.
Yeah. Okay, Sutter Home.
Want to Barnes and James with him?
Enya's for wine coolers and
umbrella.
insects.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anybody else on music pairings?
Come on, Elise.
No, for the Jacks.
For the Jacks. Or your Catherine.
Oh, there you go. You're on.
Yeah, nobody would know any bands that I bring out.
Oh, try us.
I like the AC/DC though.
AC/DC would be great.
Right? Back in Jack. I love it.
Jack. Nice.
2015's promotion right
left
there. Back in
Yeah.
Jack.
You can do a little Metallica too.
Oh yeah, which song? Any of them?
Any of them.
Yeah.
Hero for a Day.
Oh, Foo Fighters would be great.
Ooh, Foo Fighters would be great.
Yeah. Justin.
All right.
Look
Okay.
at you coming out of your shell, Jeff Travis.
Yeah, vegetarian and likes the metal. It's always the quiet ones, or those that take bird pictures.
You know that really is true.
Yeah,
But
I know, right? What percentage of fruit in the Catherine Hall is mountain fruit?
Oh. almost-
Trivia pursuit
almost
guy?
all of it, right? I think, right? It's
Well, no, there's some stuff from
Bergfeld, right?
Bergfeld
Yeah.
there as well.
Yeah.
And actually, we purchased some fruit from just
Carpenter, right?
Yeah, Carpenter,
Yeah.
just below.
Yeah, so it's basically it's built on Sacrochet. So that's what it's funny. That's every year we get an opportunity in January to taste the new wines that are going to be released that year. So it's this horrific meeting that happens for like 3 days, and then at the end of the day we like get to just drink all the best wines that we have. And so
Sure.
I'm always
Carrot
like,
at the end of
right, yeah, there you go, you make it. But I always like when I'm going into the Catherine Hall, I'm always looking for, and I can pretty much nail how much Sacrochet fruit's in it just by going for that volcanic ash. It's got this kind of ubiquitous palate, so you're looking for the red fruit on the top.
Ubiquitous.
And
Wow.
That was a
Can you
SAT
spell that?
vocab
Was
word.
that the
Yeah, can you spell ubiquitous?
no, it wasn't actually, but it was
I think he needs to drink more Manhattans.
right?
probably, I
That's
guess.
too big of a word.
Oh man, we're not playing by Bush rules.
No. I like Grateful Dead, by the way, for Jack's. That's where I was
think
going
so.
with
Yeah,
it.
we're,
Yeah.
okay. Excellent.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a little too mellow, no?
No, see, I'm okay with being mellow.
He
Jack.
dances to do a different drummer's beat.
Yeah,
Show us.
Not
Jeff
even
or
a
Jack?
drum.
it's both. Yeah, no. So for me, that's like it's always really approachable. It's obviously like brand new when we're tasting it in January, so it's really
Right.
interesting to see the development
Just-
of the wine just between the 6 months and that meeting and actually today. So I get a lot of red fruit right now, and then it all kind of gets dark and black and
So even by September, we should start seeing subtle changes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's exciting. I
This
like it.
wine is it's a fun wine. I have only been here a short time, but I have 2 vintages now, and the whole thought is if you can buy a case and drink a bottle every year and see how it
These are the rules
evolves.
I play by.
If you really love the wine, it's
special.
really special.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm right now. We are down to our last 1997 Clos de Val Reserve, and we did buy a good case or so at the time,
Yeah.
and when it was released. And it's one of those wines that we keep pulling out, you know. And like now we're down to the last one. We haven't had it in a few years, but so
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you know,
Do we
when
wanna
do
do it?
we? Do
Yeah.
we not?
Yeah.
And so that was from my very first winery job.
Yeah.
And so getting the staff allocations, that was really sweet. And
Sure.
and taking the chance, and because even at staff prices, it's not cheap.
No.
And to dedicate to a full, like I think we did a case and a half. And then we have my husband and I have had a bottle every year, checked it out, and so now we've kind of come down to the gap of,
It's nice.
oh no, we're down to the last bottle.
I know,
And so
I
someday
know.
we will open it up and check it out.
Well, and before you don't want to open it up,
right? Yeah, there is that other.
There's that. Yeah.
But the oldest wine we've had of recent in our personal collection, I think it was a 1975 Clos de Val.
Wow.
And it was a little past its prime, but it was still interesting. The 78 we had a few years ago was holding up beautifully.
Was it? Interesting.
So that was really cool. And then I just recently had the opportunity to drink quite aged champagnes.
Oh, wow.
1966 Perrier, Laurent
Joulet?
Perrier. No, it was Laurent Perrier. We had a 75 or 1970 Bollinger. It was incredible. And although
I think we should do that tasting next week.
yeah,
I think you're
right.
right. You bring the wines.
Right.
Jeff and I will be on again,
Yeah.
Right,
and we'll
right.
talk to the wines.
So anybody out there who has these vintages or similar of champagnes, please contact us and we will be happy to sample them
Yes.
for you.
because you don't need a food pairing with champagne.
No.
It's a great equalizer. It goes with everything.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a little
Yeah.
black dress of wines. It's
That's
fantastic.
right. I
It
like that.
is. It truly is. It's my go-to. I love it. I am a sparkling wine girl. I adore it. I think it's the fantastic wine. If you don't know what to drink, you want a little something, open up a bottle of Bubbles. It's fantastic. You got pizza, Bubbles. Burgers, pizza. Or burgers and pizza. Burgers, Bubbles. Chips,
Bubbles.
It-
Cheetos, bubbles.
It works. So
It does.
Nothing at all. Bubbles.
Bubbles, exactly.
It does.
Bubble
Gummy
bath,
bears,
Bubbles.
bubbles.
It works so perfectly.
great.
Oysters, bubbles. Sure, you want to be fancy, go with the caviar. That's fine too. No one's going to stop you. But it goes well with everything. And actually, the the more junky food it is, the better it gets. So don't be afraid to bring out your finest champagne when you've got, the throwdown of hot wings and
85 Krug and
This is a great ad right now. The junkier the food, bring out your bubbles.
just keep it go more expensive. It just gets better.
you know what's really good after bubbles though? A glass of Catherine Hall.
That's what I was going to say. Perfect. It balances out. Just rounds out your evening.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No,
yeah, well,
no,
off camera.
no. We won't go there. Catherine Hall is stunning. Thank you for sharing. How long would someone age this wine? Speaking of aging.
I mean, so I have a 2008 and a 2011 in a 9-liter size. And actually, so speaking of the Hall, so they give you that bottle when when you're working for them and you have a baby. They actually will put the picture on the bottle, the
That's
Catherine Hall.
very sweet.
So I'm looking forward to drinking those
I don't think it's
18
that
years
sweet.
from now.
Damn it.
So, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and I think it'll totally
Jeff's
make
going to be
it.
having a kid every year.
Right? He's like,
create
here's
a
another one.
collection.
I'm sure
I
I'm
have
doing
3
children in
beautiful
Africa.
daughters, and I am.
I think they should do something for adopting dogs.
50 cents a day.
Don't you?
I do.
I think so. Oh, I think so.
I think I've carried the father, the newborn father here at the winery for a few years now.
Okay, so you can take a
I'm
break.
looking forward to passing it on.
It's nice when you don't have to change diapers anymore.
We're looking
Yeah.
forward to that
brilliant.
too.
Yeah. You're looking for yeah,
I think the nice thing, actually, our wines are so approachable right out of the gate, but they age for a really long time. And
So
it's
good
and when I
longevity.
said, and I was honest when I said buy a case, because to see the way that our wines evolve over a 10, 12, 15-year period is pretty spectacular. And
We're
I
going
think,
to drink a 2000 at the Catherine Hall release party.
yes, we are.
All right, so
Yeah.
there's going to be a 2000 at the Catherine Hall release party. So if you
Yes.
want to see how the Hall wines hold up, definitely get your tickets. It's a not-to-miss event anyway. It's in the smack dab middle of harvest, or somewhere thereabouts,
Yeah.
depending on when
somewhere-
you start.
Yeah.
Like
Have you guys
Cabernet
started
harvest.
yet?
No.
Ah, okay, so we're still holding on.
And we have a harvest contest, and I lost. What about you?
Oh, I'm still up next Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah.
Other Jeff?
Anyway?
I messed up. I'm on the 18th.
Oh, it could happen.
I think I'm going to be too late.
Too
It could
late,
happen.
I thought
Rest
it
of our
was
studio
12.
audience?
Anybody else?
22nd, 19th.
19? 18?
Okay.
End of the month.
End of the month.
I was
Wow.
the
You're
fourth.
gonna
I
hold
was like,
out
I'm going to
really
be
long.
that person.
This is
I'm
when
going to
it
go for
keeps
the
up.
fourth, and I,
Yeah.
All right, so down to the left. What do we got? No, what, you can't have my
Jackson
number.
had my number because I asked him for the number.
Caleb's
Oh.
our intern, so he doesn't
So
really
he's
have
actually
any
the
idea what's
loser.
going
All
on.
right, interns have no vote. Okay.
No, he has a vote, he just doesn't know.
Oh, you do too have a vote. You have a vote, Caleb.
Yeah, next year you can pick your vote.
Unless you
Yeah.
want the baby torch.
Can we just stop with the whole baby thing for just like a
5
year?
minutes. All right, my Vine Spot says the Catherine Hall has plenty of weight and richness. We're talking about the wine, right? Solid tannin structure and balance, and should develop nicely. I think that's very, very.
I would
very
agree
well
with the wine. The woman does not have weight and richness.
Aw.
She's a very
she's
But
very
she has
tiny,
great
very petite.
Jimmy Choo shoes.
Yes. Slender and agile.
And then 2 purple thumbs up to whoever does the packaging and design of the Hall wines. Attractive, eye-catching, and they all have a story.
Oh, thank you.
I know, that's from my Vine Spot.
All great wine has stories. I mean, they have stories like this. They have stories in the way that we position, we
Well,
tell-
speaking
tell
of
the
stories,
tasting.
I'm currently reading Shadows of the Vineyard, which is a fantastic book that talks about the poisoning of vines in Burgundy. So some of the most famous vineyards, somebody actually did a full on the most extraordinary act of agricultural terrorism that's ever been seen. And that they didn't want to talk about it. It was from the vineyards of Romanée St. Conti. And Aubert did not
I've
want
heard
to
about
even talk about it, wouldn't discuss it because he didn't want to create a copycat crime. But it was extraordinary the lengths that these people went. So this book is absolutely gripping. The author is Maximilian Potter, and he is typically a journalist writing for Vanity Fair, but turned this into a full book. He realized that there's such a love of the people and Aubert and the soil and the vines, that there was just so much more. And so far it's a beautiful book. So definitely
Wow.
highly recommend it because you really kind of get a feel not only for who this person is.
Sure.
You know, Albert is obviously an amazing character living today, you know, among us.
Sure.
You know, he's definitely going to be a legend. But how the wine industries interconnect from, you know, St. Helena to Burgundy and back again, and all of this happening. So it's really incredibly enlightening so far. I'm in love with the book. And
Is it new?
It's brand new.
Just came out.
Just came out. You can get it from Copperfield.
Would you get that for me for, I don't know, what's the holiday coming? Yeah, would you put it on your...
Kwanzaa.
Sure. Yeah, you want to put it on your wish list?
Yeah.
I would agree, though. I mean, the thing about the wine industry is the coolest part about the industry is once you're in, like you're in. Like
You're
it's
not
not a
escaping.
big group of people. I was outside, you know, working in San Francisco, and I got really lucky to get a job here. I thought because I didn't think I'd
We
ever
thought so
break in.
too.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm gonna
always here,
work
though.
for a winery. No, I didn't always work for a winery though. I mean, I came into Napa Valley going, I'm gonna work in the
true.
wine country, and this was amazing. And there was such a romance behind it.
Sure.
You know, you're real excited, and then you learn about wine country. Just kidding. But no, you never lose it, and it is special. And it turns out that there are a lot of jobs, and you know, all aspects. If you're a social media expert, if you are just interested in having fantastic hospitality skills, any walk of life can work in the wine industry.
And people tell us all the time. We just went to a seminar together yesterday. But and you meet so many people and so many interesting people, and then you come onto this campus and people come by. Our visitors are here and they say, you have the most amazing job in the world. And I want to say, oh, it's harder than it looks, but actually I have the most amazing job in the
When
world.
you reflect and you're like, well, I'm
And
not
it's a
working
lot
in
of
a sanitation
hours, and it's a
department,
lot
so
of,
that's
and it
good.
is stress, and it's all that, but it's good stress, and it's, I mean, we're blessed.
Yeah.
I think we both feel
We were
really
drinking
blessed.
at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and no one cared.
We're all actually getting paid
Well,
for
and that's
this.
exactly right. Yeah, we're getting paid to do this.
We're actually
Elise and
getting
I were
paid.
passing
So
around
when
the
we think
bourbon
about
tasting.
that, it's pretty awesome.
And we really like each other.
yeah.
You know, it's
There's
like
that
you work
too.
with people that you really like. Because you complete me.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
We're on national TV.
International TV. We're on
We're on live
intergalactic
stream.
Things
TV.
got really weird.
I thought the book was going down.
Right?
It's an inside joke.
You
Yes.
guys are funny. So we do have some more feedback coming from our bloggers, and then we're going to wrap it up. But we have from Flawless Crowns, the Catherine Hall is delicious. Lovely cab that has great complexity, but really wows you with the flavor.
Cool.
I think it's fantastic. And absolutely, Dazelle, anytime. That book is amazing. I hope you track it down. Incredible. But at this point in time, is there anything we need to bring up before we close out?
Can we bring up Mike Jackson?
Mike Jackson, welcome to the stage.
Yay! This
Here
is
comes
my Mike
RoboArm.
Jackson. Yes.
The Mike Jackson.
Yep. Give us a quick barrel pitch.
Come on. You're on camera now. You can't clam up.
All right, he's
right.
clamming up.
Fine.
5 barrels.
Five barrels.
5 barrels.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, we want to thank you all so much for being here, and Jeff Zappelli and Jocelyn Hoare. You guys are fantastic. I love the bourbon trend. I think this is a great way to start any meeting
I think you
off.
need to finish your glass before the show's over.
Oh, no. That's another
Pound,
show.
pound, pound.
This isn't the Marco show.
I thought this was like Bravo TV.
Oh yeah. Well,
Don't we
not
do
quite.
shot skis?
We don't. Yeah, we don't do shot skis, and we
okay.
don't throw down, and that's a whole nother.
That's about all I knew about that show. Sorry.
Right?
Okay.
But we thank you all so much for joining us today. Our amazing bloggers, My Vine Spot, Flawless Crowns, and Cellar Mistress. We thank you all. So we'll see you again next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. And we look forward to sipping with you on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. I'm Sarah Elliman, your host, also known as the Vineyard Vixen, and Hall Wines has been our featured wine, and we will see you soon. So cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.